Leading the Nightline tonight, the federal government assures that the country's energy supply remains stable despite global uncertainties following conflicts in West Asia. Minister of Energy Transition and Water Transformation, Dr. Amar Fadillah Yusof says Petroleum National Berhad or PETRONAS formulates alternative plans to ensure continuous oil and gas supply if key routes such as the Strait of Hormuz face disruption, including supplies from Australia and the wider Asia-Pacific region. According to him, the move is a proactive step to prepare for any potential disruptions in the global energy supply chain.
Ini semua mereka bersiap siaga dan setakat ini alhamdulillah perancangan ini sedang berjalan dengan baik. Bekalan kita setakat ini masih dalam keadaan yang stabil.
He also adds that the government tightens monitoring to ensure subsidies reach their intended targets and to curb leakages.
Kita dapat kesan berlakunya penyeludupan. Maknanya penjualan secara tidak sah ini merugikan bukan saja negara tapi rakyat kita sendiri terjejas. Kita patut bagi keutamaan, pastikan bekalan dalam negara ini cukup supaya penyeludupan itu dapat kita kurangkan dan pastikan syarikat-syarikat penjual minyak dan juga industri pastikan ikut segala peraturan untuk kita pastikan bekalan dalam negara ini cukup, tidak akan menjejaskan keselamatan bekalan tenaga dalam negara kita.
Fadillah also urges the public and government sectors to adopt energy-saving practices across the board. Suggested measures include setting office air conditioning to 24 degrees Celsius, switching off unused electrical equipment, and considering work-from-home arrangements for non-critical sectors. On other developments, Fadillah reveals that the government steps up monitoring of the country's water supply amid hot weather and the monsoon transition, which could cause dry conditions and drought in several areas. The ministry, together with state water supply companies, closely tracks reservoir levels and distribution system capacity to ensure water supply remains sufficient. 3 deaths from rabies recorded in Sarawak this year serve as a serious reminder of the disease's threat to the public. State Deputy Premier and Minister of Public Health, Housing and Local Government, Dr. Sim Pui Hian says the situation calls for the public to be more vigilant and take preventive measures seriously.
How the vaccination at the moment is from cat and not just stray dogs, cat and scratches and cat bites and so on. So we must be very aware that rabies is around, and then even if not stray dogs, even your own dogs, they can be infected by rabies, and that's why they need to have yearly vaccination. And yearly vaccination, it is if it's your dog, you love yourself, you must go and vaccination. The next thing is we are going to discuss about cats, because now half the cases of cat bites and cat scratches come from cats.
Dr. Sim emphasizes that the free vaccination program by the Department of Veterinary Services Sarawak includes community outreach, making it more convenient for pet owners to access. For those who prefer private clinics, he notes that vaccinations remain available for a fee. He assures that the state continues to intensify vaccination campaigns to curb the spread of rabies among both dogs and cats, underscoring the importance of annual immunizations to protect pets and humans alike. The proposed increase in the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly Dun seats is now awaiting action from the Election Commission following its approval at the state level. Dun Speaker Tan Sri Dr. Amar Muhammad Asfia Amun Nasar says the Dun approves the addition of 17 new seats, raising the total from 82 to 99. He reveals that the next steps fall under the jurisdiction of the Election Commission following the state-level approval to increase the number of seats.
Penambahan kursi parlimen memerlu 2/3 dalam parlimen. Itu mungkin pihak pemerintah perlu kerja keras untuk mendapat 2/3. Jadi tidak ada masalah bagi Dewan lagi. Tidak. Hanya SPR mengesahkan persempadan di ground akar umbi dan sudah itu memamerkan baru dibentang di Parlimen.
He explains that the proposed redelineation will be displayed publicly to allow for projections before it is gazetted and later tabled in Parliament for approval. Meanwhile, Asfia stresses that geographical factors must be taken into account in Sarawak's redelineation. He also notes that the current Dun term runs until February 2027 and can be dissolved at any time, but the young Diputuan agree upon the advice of the Premier of Sarawak. Two 12-year-olds were found drowned at the Sungai Pelan Lot waterfall area along Jalan Permata in Kuidorong, Bintulu. The first victim, 12-year-old Tristan Marisa Erna, was found around 5:20 in the evening, about 5 meters from the riverbank. The second victim, Darren Dakun Baruskram, also 12 years old, was found by a member of the public at around 11:19 that same night, not far from where the first victim was discovered. He was in about 9 meters of water. According to the Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department's Operations Centre, the search and rescue operation that had been underway since that afternoon was actually suspended at 7:09 p.m. after the first victim was found. Both boys are believed to have drowned while swimming with two other friends at a waterfall around 2 in the afternoon on Sunday. They were reported missing about half an hour later. The Fire and Rescue Department had received an emergency call at 3:22 p.m. and a team from the Kuidorong Fire Station was dispatched to the scene right after. The SAR operation was officially called off at 12:33 midnight once both victims had been recovered. Welcome back. Government fuel subsidies surged from around 700 million ringgit to 3.2 billion ringgit in less than a week, following a spike in global oil prices caused by conflict in West Asia. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim says that in an increasingly uncertain global environment, protecting the welfare and well-being of the people remains the top priority for the Madani government. Anwar explains that global oil prices rise due to the conflict in West Asia, triggered by attacks involving Israel and the United States against Iran, raising questions about why Malaysia, as an oil-producing nation, is affected. He says the Strait of Hormuz, a key global oil shipping route, faces disruption from the conflict, limiting supply and driving prices higher. Anwar adds that Malaysia is impacted because nearly 50% of the country's oil supply passes through the strait. On February 28, the United States and Israel launched strikes on targets in Iran, including Tehran, causing damage and civilian casualties. Iran later carried out retaliatory strikes against Israeli territory and United States assets in West Asia, and also moved to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Escalating US and Israeli strikes on key targets in Iran raise concerns over its nuclear capabilities. Geostrategic expert Associate Professor Dr. Azmi Hassan says President Donald Trump's claim that the United States has won should be seen in the context of Washington's main objective, stopping Iran from possessing uranium for nuclear weapons.
Jadi dalam hal ini baru beberapa jam yang lepas loji nuklear Natanz telah dibom, telah dibedil, dan itu yang kita lihat operasi ketenteraan Amerika Syarikat dengan Israel adalah agak berbeza. Dan kalau kita lihat, Israel mahu menghapuskan, membunuh kesemua pemimpin Iran dengan tanggapan bahawa Iran akan menjadi lemah. Tapi objektif Amerika Syarikat sebenarnya bukan. Walaupun sering berubah, Trump objektifnya berubah, tapi hakikatnya adalah untuk Trump mengatakan beliau telah menang, Amerika telah menang, kena dibuktikan bahawa keupayaan Iran untuk memproses uranium, membuat bom nuklear telah dihapuskan. Jadi lebih mudah dalam hal ini objektif Amerika berbanding dengan objektif Israel, dan terdapat pertentangan dalam agenda kedua-dua rakan ini yang telah berperang dengan Iran.
In a related development, security concerns in the Strait of Hormuz are drawing global attention, with more than 20 countries expressing readiness to help ensure safe shipping routes in the area. However, Dr. Azmi stresses that such efforts can only be realized if a ceasefire is achieved.
Tapi dengan satu syarat, gencatan senjata itu yang paling penting. Kalau tiada gencatan senjata dalam keadaan sekarang, maka tidak ada, dikatakan, konsorsium 20 negara rakan-rakan Amerika Syarikat untuk membantu menstabilkan ataupun menjadikan Selat Hormuz itu lebih selamat dalam hal ini. Dan kalau kita lihat, walaupun Trump kata akan memperlahankan serangan, tapi persediaan untuk anggota Marine mereka untuk menawan beberapa pulau dalam Selat Hormuz itu dikatakan itu agendanya, kerana tanpa mengawal pulau ini maka Iran akan terus-menerus dikatakan bermahajalela ataupun berkuasa untuk menentukan apa nasib laluan Selat Hormuz itu.
The situation, he says, is expected to remain under close international scrutiny, as any escalation could have significant implications for regional stability and the global economy. Across the country, Aidilfitri was celebrated in full spirit as leaders and thousands of Muslims gathered at mosques nationwide to perform the Sunat Aidilfitri prayers. From Sarawak to other states, the first day of Shawwal was marked by unity, gratitude and togetherness as members of the royal families and state leaders joined the Rakyat in welcoming Shawwal. The celebrations reflected not only the joy of completing Ramadan, but also the strong sense of community and harmony shared by Malaysians from all walks of life. In Sarawak, Governor Tun Pehin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, alongside wife Tuan Puan Datuk Petinggi Fauzia Muhammad Sanusi, joined thousands in performing the Aidilfitri Sunat prayers at the Sarawak State Mosque on Saturday. Also present at the same mosque was Sarawak Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Jari Tunapeng, who performed the prayers alongside 5,000 congregants from across Kuching. The Aidilfitri prayers were led by Sarawak's Grand Imam, Sahibul Fadilah Datuk Mustafa Kamal Ahmad Fauzi, who also delivered a sermon titled Shawwal, Rising from Trials, United in Faith. In his sermon, he highlighted the importance of gratitude, unity and strengthening faith among Muslims in facing today's challenges. Meanwhile, in Selangor, at the Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah Mosque, the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, joined the congregation in performing the Aidilfitri Sunat prayers. Also in attendance were the Tunku Pemaisuri of Selangor, Tunku Nur Ashikin, and the Raja Muda of Selangor, Tunku Amir Shah. After the prayers, His Royal Highness listened to the Aidilfitri sermon titled Shawwal, A New Beginning, which touched on gratitude and self-reflection. The event, organised by the Selangor Islamic Religious Department, saw the attendance of more than 15,000 worshippers. In Johor, the Regent of Johor, Tunku Mahkota Ismail, performed the Aidilfitri prayers at the Sultan Abu Bakar State Mosque in Johor Bahru, together with more than 2,000 congregants Saturday morning. The Aidilfitri prayers, which were also attended by Johor Menteri Besar, Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi, were led by State Grand Imam Muhammad Bukharuddin Ismail. In Kelantan, the Tunku Mahkota of Kelantan, Tunku Muhammad Fakri Putra, performed the Idul Fitri prayers with thousands of congregants at Muhammadi Jami' Mosque in Kota Baru. Menteri Besar Dr. Muhammad Nasruddin Daud and Chief Secretary to the Government, Tan Sri Wan Ahmad Dahlan Abdul Aziz, were in attendance. In Penang, Governor Tun Ramli Ngah Talib and his wife, Datuk Puan Raja Nura Ashikin Raja Abdullah, performed the Idul Fitri prayers together with about 5,000 Muslims at Al-Bukhari Mosque in Georgetown. I'm Shol Shmato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.